So let us talk about stage tables. Stage tables is the concept where you have a intermediate table where the data will be loaded temporarily, and only when data is successfully loaded into this intermediate table, then only the actual data will be moved to the final table. And for that purpose, let us first create a scenario where the data will be added to the existing Hive table daily revenue, and then we'll try to understand the relevance of these stage tables. So here I already connected to the lab, and then I want to run this insert command. Where data is loaded for anything about 2013 August, which means all the data other than already copied will try to copy it to the daily revenue table, which is nothing but a HDFS location pointing to this. Okay, so let us run this first by launching Hive. Use D Gadiraju Sqoop import, and then run this insert command. Hit enter. It will process the data and it will load into this table. Okay, there is a problem with the logic. So what I will do is I will just truncate this table. Truncate table daily revenue. Ideally, there should be only 364 records in this table, not 395. Now the table is truncated. We can validate by running this query. And now let me remove this where condition completely and copy the entire data into this daily revenue table. So it will have 364 records once this is run without that where condition. So now you can see that there are 364 records. And now I'm exiting from here. Okay, and getting into MySQL. And then use retail_export. Select star from daily revenue. And I will truncate this table, truncate table daily revenue. And then insert only one record. Insert into daily revenue with values 2013 for 2014, July 1st 000000.0, and then revenue is just 0. I'm just inserting one record. Okay, and on this table order date is primary key. Okay, so now let me commit just to be safe and hit enter. Now let me exit from here and run the query, run the Sqoop export. Let me run the simple Sqoop export. There is no need to run the one which have the update, because we are just trying to load the data from into a almost empty table, except there is one record. And now let me run this. So there is one record in the target table and 364 records in the source dataset, which is in HDFS. And let's see what will happen. So you can see export job failed. Okay, and also let me connect to the database with password itversity. Use retail underscore export and then select star from daily revenue and hit enter. Okay, there is only one record. The reason is here I am using only one thread. Let me delete this num mappers as one and let me run this with without num mappers as one. So it will actually use multiple threads to process the data. With one, it is a bit tough to produce the reproduce the scenario which I'm trying to explain. Hence, I have changed it to default, which is 4. So even though data is copied and it has exported 183 records, still the job is failed. And you can actually see why it failed by going to this tracking URL. Copy and then paste and hit enter. Okay, and you can see the issue is not this one. I have to see this, show this one. So you can see there are 4 tasks, out of which one is failed, one is killed, and 2 are successful. And if you click on the failed one and go to the logs, you can see that reason for the failure is nothing but integrity constraint violation. Again, there is a duplicate for the key, and we are only running in insert mode. No update related control arguments. Okay, now if you connect to the database, and then switch to the database retail export and then run select star from daily revenue. You see there are 275 rows here. Ideally, it should have 364 rows, but here it should have only one row. If it is successful, there should be 364. If it is failure, there should be only one row which was there earlier, right? But we are in the middle, 275 rows are there. So what will happen is it will retry several times and it will give up whenever there is an exception. Only one thread will try to process this 2014 July 1st. So whatever thread it try to process 2014 July 1st data failed, and other threads either killed or successful. Hence, we are in a inconsistent state. Neither data is completed properly, nor it have raised the exception and go back to its initial stage. So to address this issue, we have this additional uh, control arguments related to staging table. So you have to create a stage table first. Okay. You have to create a stage table first. That I can do by saying create table daily revenue stage. Let me do it here. And it should be empty. Okay, and most likely the stage table will be almost same as the target table. Sometimes we define the constraint, sometimes we don't. It all depends upon your design. You have to really understand the purpose of it and what type of problems you are trying to solve, and you have to design your stage tables. In this case, to handle this situation, I can define like this: order date varchar of 30, primary key, and revenue float, and hit enter, and then exit. And then run this same query with additional control argument, which is nothing but staging table. And the table name is daily revenue underscore stage. Okay. And before running this, let me go back to the database once again. Password ITversity, use retail underscore export, truncate table daily revenue, and insert that one record once again. Commit and come back. Okay. Now you can copy this thing and then paste it here and run it. And let us see what will happen. So still a job have failed. Let us see. It says duplicate entry on the final table. Okay, earlier it haven't shown this exception for us, but now it is showing. The reason is instead of, but you can see here map input records are 364, map output records are 364. The behavior is instead of loading directly into the target table, all these 364 rows actually loaded into the stage table. And once it is done, it try to run a internal database command insert into the target table, which is nothing but daily revenue, selecting from daily revenue stage. Okay, so the way it will work is first the export will copy data from Hive table daily revenue to MySQL table daily revenue stage. Once that is done, as daily revenue stage is empty, all the 364 rows are copied to this. Then it have issued a command something like this: insert into daily revenue, select star from daily revenue stage. And as we are selecting from daily revenue stage and inserting into daily revenue, it will select all the rows in one shot and insert into daily revenue. Because there is a primary constraint, it will fail. Hence, none of these 364 records will actually be copied into the target table, which is daily revenue. Hence, as it failed, we will have only one record that we can validate by again logging into MySQL. Use retail underscore export, and you can say select star from daily revenue stage, and you can see there are 364 records. But in the daily revenue itself, which is the actual table to which we want to copy the data, there is still only one record. Now we are in a consistent state. If this record is not there, all the 364 records would have copied here. As there is one record here with the primary key constraint violation, it failed. Okay. Again, with update, the behavior will be a bit different. So you have to really test it out before using the stage table with update. And however, we also need to understand an additional argument which is related to staging, which is nothing but clear staging table. And what it will do is after every or before every scoop import with staging tables, if you have this clear staging table control argument, it will clean up the data and reload again. So now let me truncate table from truncate table daily revenue and exit and run this export once again. At this time, the stage table have 364 records and the final table have no records. And if I run Sqoop export again, it will fail because even on the stage table, we have this primary key constraint. As these 364 records will violate the the primary key constraint in the stage table, it will fail. However, here the error is a bit different. It says that the specified staging table is not empty. So every time you try to use stage table, it has to be empty. If it is not empty, it will fail like this. To overcome this, you can actually add an additional argument, which is nothing but clear staging table. So every time you run, first it will clean up the staging table by running the delete command on the delete from daily revenue. Then it will actually delete from daily revenue stage. Then it will actually copy data from the Hive table, in this case, or HDFS location, into MySQL table, which is daily revenue stage. And then it will say insert into daily revenue, select star from daily revenue stage. So it will add additional step of deleting the data from stage table whenever you try to perform the Sqoop export. Now, if I run this command, first it will delete the data and it will copy delete the data from stage table, and it will copy the data from Hive table into the stage table, and then finally it will copy into the target table, and that you can actually read from the logs. It says deleted 364 records from daily revenue stage. Now the export will be successful. All the 364 records will be exported to the final table without any issues. That you can see here, migrated 364 records from daily revenue stage to daily revenue. Now you can also go back to the MySQL database and then you can actually run the query. Daily revenue have 364 records and daily revenue stage also will have 364 records. Okay, so clear actually clears. I think even without clear, if the export is successful, it will always clear the staging table. That we can validate by running once again truncate table daily revenue and also truncate table daily revenue stage. Okay, now both the tables are truncated, and this time I removed this clear staging table and run this Sqoop export. The export will be successful. I just want to make sure whether the data will be deleted from the stage table if export is successful, even when clear stage table is not there as part of the Sqoop export command. So export is successful. Now let me get to the MySQL database. Okay, now you can run the stage table. Stage table is empty. So if the export is successful, then the stage tables will be cleared immediately. If it is failed, then the stage table will not be cleared, so that you can troubleshoot the issue. But if you want to rerun, unless you have clear staging table or you cleared manually, the Sqoop export will fail. So that is the relevance of create staging table. And using these two things, we can actually maintain our target table always in the consistent state, whether it is successful or failure. Otherwise, your table might be in an inconsistent state if there are failures for whatever reason.